this is going to go. I'm going to introduce you.
Awesome.
And then I'm going to ask you questions and we're going to yap.
Okay, great. I love a yap.
Me too. Okay. This is my friend Gracie. Today on Real Talk, we're sitting down with someone who has always carried an uncommon capacity for perspective and for people. Gracie is currently a solutions engineer at Lucid Software, a global leader in visual collaboration whose platforms Lucidschart, Lucidspark, and Lucidscale help teams clarify complexity and align around a shared vision. It's fitting work for someone who has long possessed the ability to see a room from every angle all at once. Long before stepping into the world of enterprise solution delivery, that sounds so fancy and I love it.
Wow.
It's amazing and I love it. Gracie was the kind of student leader who could hold the student perspective, the faculty perspective, the donor perspective, the administrative perspective, and honor each one without diminishing the other. At the University of Utah David Eccles School of Business, where she completed her degree in Computer and Information Systems Security, she served as vice president of the Student Alumni Board, cultivating philanthropy, strengthening alumni relationships, and building a culture of belonging that extended far beyond a single campus moment. Her path also includes earning a business degree from Utah State University, John M. Huntsman School of Business, becoming a certified Scrum Master through Scrum Alliance, serving as a missionary for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and helping found and financially steward a campus organization rooted in community and connection. But titles only tell you a part of the story. What distinguishes Gracie is not simply her resume, it's her instinct to build bridges. She leads with humor, she listens with compassion, she speaks with clarity. In technical spaces and human spaces alike, she brings an open hand, someone who can translate complexity without condescension, who can advocate without alienating, who can build systems and belonging at the same time. She is in every sense a global thinker, not because she's traveled everywhere, but because she has always been able to think beyond herself, and that is a unique gift. Today, we talk about perspective, mentorship, leadership, community building, all these things. What it means to see and help others see the bigger picture. I will also say, anecdotally, that I am the kind of person who shows up extra and prepared all the time. And at my going away party, Gracie brought me green cowboy hats that sparkled and lit up, like the red sparkling cowboy hats that we had at Utah. And what Gracie doesn't probably know is that when we started doing bigger and more involved homecoming things at NDSU, the entire team got green sparkly light up cowboy hats and green heart-shaped glasses, and they all had to wear them. I made it mandatory, not for like students, like for all of our staff. I was like, how are the children going to know that you're like there to help them if they don't know that you're there to help them? And so I just appreciate Gracie seeing me and my future in that space also. So that's my like absolutely biased story about who Gracie is as a person. Gracie, thank you for being here today. I'm obsessed with you. Thank you.
I'm obsessed with you. Thank you for having me. I wish I could have you be my intro in all of the calls that I join with customers, because I think it would, really knock their socks off.
We can just take that part and you can like make it play in the beginning of meetings.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'm sure all of those people that I support would love that.
I'm sure that they would be charmed by it.
Yeah.
At least the first 3 times they heard it.
Exactly. No, I think, I'm thrilled to be here. Hi.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for being thrilled to be here. Yeah. My first question is, and like, I want to be clear. Everybody's intro is different and the things that I talk about are different. And I really do feel like the perception I had of you as a student is so not different the more I got to know you. Like, you were somebody who knew how to manage everyone in a space. And like, that is a unique gift. And I think that your family has ties to Utah that make you able to see some of those things. Like, you have legitimate historical perspective. But like, I'm not flattering you. Like, that's a real thing that you do really well. And so my first question is, you've always had a rare ability to hold multiple perspectives at once. Who first modeled that for you?
Oh, wow. That is a great question. Probably my parents. I'm sure that's a really common
great answer. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
great
really
answer.
good
Yeah.
for, like, interview. I feel like, I grew up, so I'm primarily from Salt Lake City, born and raised, but for the first 5 years of my life, we lived in Indiana while my dad was working for, a company there in like a really small town. And so at that point, with a lot of things, new on the block and new to the whole thing, I think from an early age, I learned, and through their example, that, while people might come from like a different background or you know, whatever, while they're, you know, different than you, or hold different values to be higher than you, or what it might be. I also learned that everyone's primarily a really good person and has a really good story, and it's probably good to hold all of that in like high esteem. And I've never,
Okay. Yeah,
yeah.
because you talk about this being like a childhood like how
Yeah.
old were you when you're like putting these thoughts together?
Um, I think when we then moved back to Utah, so I feel like I've been aware of it for a while, because then I
Okay.
was again that I was the new person on the
Yeah.
block.
Yep.
And you know, growing up, like it's formative years for sure. I think it especially came into practice at the U, and just of having met people in like the Student Alumni Board that I had no shot of ever meeting otherwise. Yeah, it's just a great experience. So I feel like it was something that I was taught for a long time and then got to apply myself,
Yeah.
especially when I was, you know, adulting, making adult-ish decisions.
Yeah. And like I think one of the things that I love, I mean, we all know that I'm a higher ed girly.
Yeah.
But like I do think college is like such an ideal opportunity to like put these things into practice, or like
Yes.
I have thought this, I did this, that was true. Like it's a good test space, right?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
So, during your time at the University of Utah and Utah State,
Hmm.
how did mentorship show up in your path?
Oh, great question. I think in a lot of ways, I worked really hard as well to get the most out of my resources. So I met with a lot of academic advisors, and they helped me understand, you know, the different processes of, you know, even the simple things of applying to classes and how to get the most out of my degree, and the most out of my college experience. In transferring to the U, I actually, in sort of the time before I decided to transfer to the U from Utah State, I was working for a friend of my dad's. I was managing storage units, all crazy, exciting stories that we could share another time.
Yeah, that
Um,
could be its own whole
yeah,
conversation.
it's like its
Uh-huh.
own thing. And I learned a lot in that. But my boss there, his name's Dave Johnson. He was a huge, and still is a huge, mentor to me. In the fact that I told him, hey, I'm probably studying like marketing when I get up to the U. That's sort of my thought process. And he was like, you'll be so bored if it's not. Like, and he knew me because I was like, I love a puzzle. I love to solve a puzzle. And I thought the data analytics side of marketing was really
Hmm.
interesting. And he
Hmm.
was like, you should just make that your whole thing. He was like, you'll be so
Yeah.
bored. You should push yourself and not do something just because it's easy.
All right, Dave, with
Yeah,
the
Dave,
insight.
my king Dave. Yeah.
I
So
love that.
that was big. So then I took a data analytics class, and I was like, no, you're right. This is totally my stuff. And so then I switched my major, and it was, you know, it was a lot easier than coming to the U. I mean, like, I actually already know what I want to study, so
Yeah.
I'm feeling a little bit less of like a really small fish in a really big pond.
Yeah. Well, like
Yeah.
that's immediately like I'm laughing immediately because like Gracie, my undergrad's in marketing and like your brain is light years ahead of mine. So like I just would applaud Dave for seeing that in
Yeah.
you and for being like, hey, I see this in you. That's a real thing. And like I think so much
Yeah.
of the conversation around mentorship is being seen or known by somebody who
Right.
knows more than you.
Yes, absolutely. I feel like I've been thinking about this a lot since we brought up the conversation mentorship, and that's been a big thing in my life. I'm so grateful for all of the people, right, that have like seen me at my starting point and known me there, but then also have had a vision of who I could be,
Hmm.
regardless of whether or not I really caught the vision yet. You know, it's just nice to know, I think, at its core that you've got a group of people that are wholly in your corner, and they're
Yeah.
just, you know, they're praying for your success, right? Like, and doing everything that they can to watch that come to fruition. I just so grateful.
Well, because like it's everything, right? Like you know,
Yeah.
I laugh all the time at like this is my first rodeo. Like we're all just like we are all just trying to figure out this life,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Like, so I want to go back
This
to
is sorry.
no, you're great. But you said something that I want to talk about. That's not
Mm,
even my next question, but I do want to talk about the transferring experience.
mm.
So, tell me about what it was like deciding to transfer and then showing up at Utah.
Oh my gosh, it was so scary.
Uh-huh.
Um,
That's why I want to talk about it.
yeah, it was really scary. For context, So basically, I had gone to Utah State my freshman year. I'd completed my freshman year there and loved it. It was such a great experience. I really broke out of my shell, got to be a lot more comfortable with myself. Go Aggies. Then I went on.
I was gonna I didn't know what the hand.
Yeah,
I don't know if there's a hand thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Anyway, the herd. Go Aggies. And I loved it. And then I went on a mission for my church. So I lived in Indiana for 18 months, and halfway through that, COVID hit.
Yep.
And so it was just a really hard experience. It was great. I loved it so much. But then I got home to a sort of in COVID / post-COVID world.
Yep.
And Utah State was no longer a fit for me, which was really heartbreaking and really sad for me. And so about halfway through the semester, I was like, I just feel that I would be so much happier at the U. I had, when I came home from my mission, I had spent 6 months around people in Salt Lake and students at the U, and I felt like I'd really built a community there. And so I felt like I was doing also a disservice to myself to pluck myself from that great environment and take myself back to Utah State. So anyway, yeah, it was really scary. It was nothing I'd ever known. I had gone to Utah State initially because I felt that the U would be too big for me.
Yep.
too fast-paced, to everything. And so it was really, really scary for the first couple weeks, I'd say. Just trying to figure everything out. You wouldn't expect two Utah schools and in the same state to be all that different, but they really were.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was really scary, but it was also really nice because I had gone back to Utah State expecting to see all of my friends, and a lot of that had changed.
Yeah.
And a lot of them were gone, and so it was really fun then to go to the U and see people I know and wave and have them wave back.
Yeah.
And that brought,
what a good and normal thing to want, right?
Yeah. Yeah, just the community. So it definitely also gained me my tagline, especially in SAB, of being, my diversity piece was that I was a transfer student, and that was, I brought it up a couple times, and then I got just put back to me as a joke, which is honestly my favorite.
I love it. And I think there's so much, my current hill to die on is that everyone is brave. Or that everyone, not that everyone is brave, everyone can be brave. And that bravery is just fear in motion. A lot of things are scary. But you did it. And I laugh so much at the concept of you saying that the U is too Gracie, you made that place yours. And I just can't even imagine that era without you. And I know that I'm so not alone in that. And it's fascinating. And that was Abakar and I talked a lot about COVID and his experience. And it was also when I was moving to Utah. And so this just feels like there's a set of time where we were all trying to figure out what in the world we were doing. And that's scary.
Yeah, it is. But I wouldn't have had it any other way.
Yeah.
I am so grateful that I went and did that, semester at Utah State to understand that it really wasn't going to be a happy place for me. And to have that knowledge. So then being able to go 100% in on the U and be 100% in on it.
And I think even before bravery comes honesty. This doesn't feel right. And it's not what I thought I was coming back to. And I do think that you can't applaud the move without applauding the ability to say, this isn't it. And and sometimes even that is a hard conversation, especially when there's already change and turmoil in the world, right? But you gotta be honest about it.
Yeah. I mean, I think I got to a point where I was like, yes, this is known, but it's no longer serving me. And I'd rather go hop into an unknown where there's a chance that it will. Yeah. And so it was might as well. And if it sucks, then I just I guess I have to when I get there, right? But I got to the U, and sure, it was really hard and scary for a couple of weeks, and then I sort of figured life out, I think, and got my feet back under me, and then it was I think the best way I could have spent the last 2.5 years of my life. It's great.
I love it. Yeah. Okay, so as vice president of the Student Alumni Board, you were both a mentee and a mentor at the same time. Walk me through it. That feels like a lot.
It was a lot. It was really fun to carry on the legacy that, you know, Abacar was creating and that Jenna before had created and had really set a standard of excellence. So it was really fun to be on sort of the forefront of that and be able to carry on the traditions. You know, I served as the vice president over traditions. So it was really fun to dive into the U's rich history, something that I'd grown up with but never really like dove too much into.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that could be the story for probably, you know, 40 or 50% of the you know, student, you know, population at the U as well. And so it was really fun to connect in. And then it was also a really fun experience to, you know, with the students that had just joined the Student Alumni Board to set that, you know, standard and experience as well, that like we play hard together and we work hard together and we're going to be able to see the results.
Yeah.
And so it sort of felt like always a cycle. It was never that I've really felt or really wanted to be in any position that I was like, I'm above you.
Yeah.
It was just that like, I'm so excited to hear your ideas. Here's what worked last year. Let's workshop it. And so be able to bring my knowledge without, you know, diminishing or minimizing anyone else's knowledge and just having, you know, an incredible share.
Which is like the dream, right?
Yeah.
Like, I just think that was such a special era of like figuring it out and like innovating and protecting at the same time.
Yes. I just as a shout out to the Student Alumni Board, I would, you know, I loved it, but it brought me some of my best friends. Like I met Sarah King my first year on that. We never knew each other before. We were still best friends, talk every day. I'm so grateful for my friendship with like Abacar and Sydney and Will and DeGaulle and Mark. And I could go on and probably list every single member of SAB, and I probably should. But it was such a special time for me to really feel like I had a space to come into my own and meet again with a bunch of diverse perspectives that I probably, again, would never have met otherwise.
Yeah.
You know, the U's a big campus and my business school was 2 buildings. And so it was like I was just in these 2 buildings all day. But yeah, I couldn't say enough about the mentorship that I received there.
Okay. All of that was beautiful. And then I started laughing because this one time, my degree from the University of Utah is from the S.J. Quinney College of Law, one building, the one. And so I spent very little time in the business school, like very little, except this one time, Glenn Senninger was teaching a class and wanted me to come talk about something. And of course it was snowing. So I made Brandy come with me and we were like late and I don't like know where I'm going. And I'm like going up and down the elevator, like literally just like voyaging to try to find this classroom. And the elevator door starts to open and I like go to step out right away and like fully run into this man who was like late to class and like rolled his eyes so dramatically and then got in the elevator. And that's like my absolute trauma story about being in the business buildings.
I think I know exactly who it was.
I love this moment for us.
Yeah, I think I could tell you I know exactly.
And it so took me off guard because I am trying my best. Like I'm not late to class. I'm done. I'm here to help. And I don't know how and I don't know where I'm going. So if you're not going to help me find this room, I don't have a lot to say.
I had similar experiences, and I learned with time that being an information systems major meant that we would be locked in the dungeon, the basement of the business building. And so eventually I learned, and whenever I'd see people walk around confused looking for their stuff, I'd be like, it's probably downstairs, man, probably down in the windowless section.
Which like I vividly, like I remember the door opening and be like, it's dark down here. Like why is it?
Yeah.
Why? Like, why?
Yeah, why? Me and DeGaulle and I were eventually on the very same track, and so we had a lot of our classes together, which meant that we also convinced each other to take classes that we didn't really want to because the other was there.
You had a buddy? Yeah.
Yeah, and that was better than nothing. But all of them were in I refer to it as the dungeon, the basement of the Spencer Fox Eccles business building. And we would come out of these classes, and it would have been light when we went in, and it was dark when we came out, and it was
like, who knows? Who knows how long you were down there? How could you know?
Passed? What year is it? No idea.
And I say that as a student who graduated from what I think is personally the most beautiful well-lit building on campus.
Yeah.
Biased.
I mean, I never have entered the law building, so I can't deny it.
It's like multiple award-winning, like LEED certified green building. It's like it's just lights and windows everywhere, and I'm obsessed with it. And that is not about mentorship at all. So I'm gonna get back on track.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the world of solutions engineering, mentorship can look different than in traditional leadership roles. What does that look like for you?
Sure. Well, first off, my team, the solutions engineering team, there's probably about 20 people on it globally. So in its entirety, there's 20 people on it, and we all cover, a different sales team in a different segment, basically. So I'm tied to one sales team. So I've got a mentor in that manager, probably a mentor in all of this account executives that I support. But beyond that, I feel really lucky because you hear about tech and technology companies, and you hear that they're really hard and competitive and cutthroat. And I've been so lucky in my experience that Lucid is not one of those things, because I think it would have broken me. It made me a little sad. And so it's been really interesting through the examples of all of my peers to be able to see that, we really do believe that teamwork, takes us further than anything else, and that it's really good to take ownership of things, but it's also good to win together, and it's better to win together. So I've had a lot of incredible managers or just mentors or, people that have been there a year or two longer than me that have been really, showing me the ropes. I've had a bunch of incredible managers or leaders. The director of my department, Tyler, is fantastic and really good at seeing where you are and teaching you a little thing. And then sending you on your way to apply it. I've just had a switch in managers or mentors, and my manager Mark is a mentor. We've been friends for a while, so it's fun to watch him come into a manager position. And in one of our last meetings, and this is where I'm getting around to your question, so I'm so sorry.
You're doing great. Nope. I'm here for all of it.
But he came into our last one-on-one meeting, so we have a sync once a week just to say, here's what I'm working on, here's where I need help. Here's what's frustrating me, whatever. I just have dedicated time to express my frustrations as well as my wins. And in it, he's just stepping into this manager role, and he said, I want you to know that I work for you. I'm here to enable you to do your job better. And that was so comforting, because I was like, oh, now I have just this open space to say, here's something that's a blocker to me in my role. And then say, what do I need to be mindful of here as we work through it? And he can, give me that advice, but also say, I'm going to bat for you if there's something that we need to raise as a concern. So anyway, great examples.
And this is Mark.
This is Mark. Mark Mooney.
I see you, Mark.
Yeah, we love Mark. I told him in my one-on-one with him this week that I would shout him out, and he got really embarrassed. So
I am even more excited that I added to the level of fanfare around Mark's leadership and existence. But that's amazing. And I think even before the I work for you, going to bat for you, which is its own whole conversation, is you started with dedicated time. And for me, I don't know how anyone can believe that they are leading or mentoring or guiding or managing anyone if I feel like I have to fight for your time, or if I feel like my time is not given, or that I always feel like you're kind of rushing me out. And I think that I think sometimes we try to make mentorship really hard, really complicated. You started with dedicated time. Y'all, we are not asking for the moon, the sun, and the stars. Dedicated time.
I'm just asking for you to hear me complain for about 20 minutes about something and say, okay, how can we make that load lighter?
Yeah.
And be like, oh.
I didn't know we could do that.
Is that allowed? Mark.
Yeah. Mark, go off, King.
Mark, please. Yeah. So I'm very grateful to be on a team that is so supportive of each other, so willing to ask questions. I think that's the other thing that I've really learned in my role. I've been a solutions engineer for the last 2.5, 3 years. And it is such a relief and so refreshing to not have to be worried about looking like I'm the smartest person in the room. Oh my gosh. It is so fun to just be like, hey guys, I forgot, or hey, I don't know, I just heard this thing from person X, Y, and Z. Can you help me understand what this means? And have so many people be willing to come in and explain it. So I'm so thrilled that I don't have to pretend that I know everything, because I clearly don't. And I'm not expected to.
Yeah.
But I've got like this incredible group of people from these very incredible backgrounds that are willing to come help a girl out.
Well, like that speaks so much to leadership and culture, and like there for me, like I could not agree more. I think there's no scarier table to be at than a table where you're expected to know everything. There's no room there. Like I cannot ask a question, I cannot make an error, and like from a company standpoint, it is dangerous. Like if you have staff who believe they cannot make a mistake, they cannot ask a question, they're supposed to be the smartest person at a table, like that is a table you need to leave.
Mm-hmm.
If you are expected to be, or if you are, or if you can't be, like when we talk about red flags, right? Like these are red flags.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm obsessed with that.
Yeah, it's a great environment. I feel like I've really been able to come up. I also think it's nice because I don't think anyone on my team really likes being told what to do and being like
Sure.
micromanaged. And we're not. And that's it's are you interested in this one thing? Like I told my manager last year, I'd really love to learn more about security and dive deeper into security and cybersecurity and what that all means for us, like specifically with our company, but in general. And she was like, yeah, go for it. I said, great.
Wow.
And then
And,
she
like,
said,
go ahead.
sorry, she said, like, Lucid has a mentorship program. You can sign up for it. I recommend you sign up for one of these 3 people. And so I got to, for 6 months, connect with the head of information security for Lucid.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Now I want to talk, like, I have questions, but like, no,
Yeah.
now we got to just deep dive, which is amazing. Thank you for saying the most profound things all the time.
Yeah,
Because one of the conversations I've been having is like, do formal corporate mentoring structures work? And like, one of the things that I think is so interesting that you just brought up is you voiced an interest. There was something in place, and this person who knew you recommended specific people.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, I will say, a completely different model than like some of the ones where we're like, here's a mentoring program, this is your mentor, best of luck. Like I don't think that's a working model, but it feels like you have a working model of like what this looks like. So tell me more about all of that.
Absolutely. I would love to. I think they do a great job. I'm actually a mentor right now to someone else. So I've
Oh, we're
got
gonna
a
talk about that
mentee.
too. Oh, Gracie.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yep.
So, and it's the same process. So either as a mentor or as a mentee, what you do is a team at Lucid sends out a Google form and you fill out some information about yourself and what you're willing to talk about or what you're looking for. And then you get put into a massive spreadsheet, just a huge spreadsheet with your picture, your background, what you're willing to talk about. And then mentees can go through and look through all of that.
Yep.
And then fill out a different form and say, these are my top 3 people that I'd like to connect with.
I love
and this
that.
is why, and this is why I think it'd be a good fit, and this is what I'm trying to get out of it. And so then, the team does a little bit of moving around and it's, trying to understand. And some people get multiple mentees. But then for 6 months, you go through sort of a mentee structures it themselves. So for 6 months, I got to go put time on the head of information security's calendar and have an hour meeting with him once a month to answer any and all questions I had, to go over things that we talked about last time, and to make sure that it was guided by me, receiving a lot of information from him. So he talked me through, his main concerns, what he worries about in a day, what other security professionals might worry about in a day, what are key things in some of our offerings at Lucid that would be really interesting to those people. Yeah. And it was just overall a really great experience, but I feel like it was a great experience because I was able to lead the conversation.
Yeah, like you were driving.
And say what I wanted.
Yep.
And it's not that I was like, I own your time now, Nathan. Right. It's that I said, I'm coming prepared to this. I've prepared my notes. This is what I want to talk about. We've planned our other meetings.
Yep.
It's go time.
That is a wild, like, this Real Talk conversation was not brought to you in any way, shape, or form by Lucid or any partner
So
or
true.
parent or affiliate entities relating to
So true, so
Lucid
true.
anything. But I feel like they've hacked what other people have, which is like the ones that I've talked about that haven't worked are these top down. We have this program. Here's how it works. Like it's dictated to you, versus what I feel like was this like really equitable, mentee centered access and connection across the enterprise that is honestly inspirational.
Yeah, you could it's really fun because I also had a mentor when I was part-time that was an engineer, so I could have picked anyone. Like
Yeah.
so many people across the company, so product, security, developers, sales, everyone, every
Yeah.
other role is all in there and is all represented, and it's from these people that have signed up to be a mentor, so they're really willing.
Right.
It's not that it's forced on their plate either.
Because you're going through the thing someone filled out.
Yeah, someone said this is what I'm interested in teaching about or talking about, and they could have listed other interests as well that maybe were less work related.
Yeah.
So you got to sort of, lack of better phrasing, suss someone out and then say
that's what we're doing, right?
Yeah, it's like I just needed to suss you out. I've checked the vibes here. This is gonna work for me, and now here's what I can expect to get out of it.
So my clarifying question is both times you talked about 6 months. Is there like a stated amount of time for that duration?
It just says that you meet once a month, sort of for 6 months. They have 2 rounds, I think.
Okay.
So that's so you have a fall round and a spring round.
Okay.
So, but it's not like you're tied into it either. It's not like you signed up, so you're committed. Normally what we see, because the mentee drives it, is that maybe the mentee says, I'm so busy with my work.
Yeah.
And so they drop out.
Yeah.
And that's fine. So it just frees up the mentor and that's whatever.
Yeah.
But again, it's all centered around that experience of learning. And what I've also thought was interesting was, and it probably was around before, but I just didn't notice it, but they had a checkbox in this form that was like, are you open to reverse mentoring, where someone who is much more experienced from you comes to learn from you? So you could have like an exec come and learn from some entry level person.
Yeah. Because like,
and just foster that.
Okay, and like my brief segue into this function is that, Real Talk has a number of pillars, and they are mentorship, leadership, philanthropy, education, community, creativity. Like these are the things that like these are my hills to die on.
Yes.
And so like they'll run in tandem. Like someone I'm really, really excited to talk to about mentorship wasn't available until May. Like so they don't end, but they will like ebb and flow. And the very first person I interviewed about leadership, I chose a student leader on purpose. This is someone I feel like I learned a lot from. And so I think even creating the safe space to be like, hi, I would love that opportunity is like profound, because I think you're, and I'm going to use Glenn Senninger's name again because I love him. But one of the things he's always so clear to say is like, I learn as much from my mentee as they learn from me. But I feel like this creates room to say like there's so much value in that exchange. It's not a one-way street. But I feel like sometimes, like for me, if someone is my mentee, I probably actually try to talk less, right? Like there are things about the name and the title that even having this function to say like, hey Gracie, I don't know how you do. Can you walk me through this, or can I learn this about you? Is so fascinating and like people forward, learning centered, human, equitable, brilliant, inspirational. And like when I think about functionally, like if I'm the board of directors of Lucid, you've explained a million ways how you are adding value to the company through these processes on your own. That is like, why wouldn't you want your company to do this?
Exactly.
I'm so obsessed with your company right now.
I love Lucid. They're not paying me to say anything. It's just that I'm a fangirl. I love my job. But yeah, no, it's been an incredible experience. On the flip side, I have a mentee this time around, which is so fun.
Yeah.
And so I work sort of like adjacent to sales. I think my department falls under sales because
Okay.
I joined sales calls, and so that's really fun. And so I know a lot about the product. In other words, that's what I'm getting at is
Yeah.
my job is to own the product and own my knowledge of it, and then be able to very simply explain it to prospective customers, normally, C-suite or, at least above the line, so director plus,
Yeah.
which is really fun. But and, makes me feel a little big for my boots. But in that, I have a mentee who's on customer success, so is normally someone that is a role that's maybe adjacent to mine or comes after I finished my part. And she's newer to the team, so it's been really fun to walk her through some of the more like nitty-gritty parts
Yep.
of our product that she's not going to learn in onboarding, and sort of clarify that and say, this is why it matters to a customer and this is the value that it provides, and to watch the gears spin.
Which, like, again, this is now just Lucid's podcast. But like the genius of being able to understand that, like, this is how you create the safety and the space to, like, ask the questions. Onboarding is never a comprehensive, nitty-gritty, in the weeds how to do your job. Like, it can't be. And so when I think about the ability to have somebody who's been there, I mean, you started in your role at Lucid part-time, right? While you were finishing school, and then you went full. So how long altogether from part-time to now? How long have you been at Lucid?
I started as an intern in May of 2023. And then that summer ended, and normally that would then be the end of it. And then that whole summer, I had basically said, you guys, wouldn't it be such a bummer if I left?
It would be, Gracie. Actually, yes.
Such a bummer. What if you guys just hired me?
What if?
And it like became a joke because I was told it wasn't possible. And then the last week of my internship, Tyler, the director of my department, shared a screen in some Zoom and was like an offer letter for being an associate,
Cute.
Which was so sweet. And I was like,
like, am I the celebrity? Like,
oh my god. It was like, so anyway, so then I worked part-time through school, did another summer, took a break off to finish school, and then started officially in January of last year.
Okay.
So been around the block, just in a couple different
That's really
titles.
cool.
Yeah.
I just really like fun. There's a lot of like, did you ever read the book Good to Great?
Should I?
Okay. Yes, you should.
Okay.
Good to Great. Here I am poorly explaining the premise, but like functionally, it's this qualitative researcher saying what spaces did so well and why. And it's not like, yes, you survived, or yes, you made a profit, or yes, you innovated, or yes, you expanded. Like, it is really like, what is exceptional? And I think one of the things that is so intriguing to me about Lucid is like, I fervently believe that the only limits on human potential are the limits we put on humans. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like Lucid has just absolutely figured out that its people are so significant in its product and performance in a way that is like, honestly, like, it is like, now I just want to bring every legal pad and just sit in like every room and like, tell me everything. Like, I want to know how everything works.
Some companies have values, and they're like, these are our values, and then you never hear about them again. Mm-hmm. And Lucid's not built that way. Lucid's built different.
And like in a good way this time.
In like a good way. It's not one of my favorite memes to send around. This is so off topic. I'll get back to my thing.
You were gonna do great. This is perfect.
To send around, especially to my manager last year, was I'm different. I'm built. Or I'm built different. And then it's like something's broken. It's like whatever, the possum in the car.
Yes.
It is though. It is built different because Lucid from day one introduces you to their values, and then they have an entire channel in Slack titled Fist Bumps, where you go call out a coworker for a value that they showed and what they did. And then a couple of them, every company update, are called out and like celebrated for their impact.
Entirely off script, but incredible. This is me saying out loud in this recording that my next spin-off of Real Talk is that I want to come spend a week assessing the culture at Lucid. And like I'm taking a class on strategic planning right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a strategic planning class, but so much of what we've spent our time talking about is culture. And one of the things that I say all the time, everybody is so sick of me saying it, is like, if your employees have to Google your beliefs, they're not beliefs. Like, my name is Bethany, and here are the things that I believe. I believe that higher education is the most efficient tool for large-scale societal transformation. I believe that. I know I believe it because I can say it without thinking about it. It is a core part of my identity. It is something everybody is literally sick of me saying. And so when you say like, well, these are our beliefs, like I want to ask everyone in your organization if they know what their beliefs are, because most people just genuinely don't. Like, it might be on the bottom of your email signature, or it might be on artwork on the wall, but like, is it pervasive in their lived working experience? And like, to the point where maybe you don't even know what the values or beliefs are because they're irrelevant, actually. Like, and I think that's like the whole thing about values and culture is like, they aren't. Like, they are, but they aren't, right?
Like, I could tell you the vibe. Like, I as you're saying that, I think I can name off our four, right? Where it's teamwork over ego. So again, it's that you believe that you're better together.
Yep.
Passion and excellence, innovation in everything we do, and personal like initiative and ownership. So like, you celebrate your win, but you understand that it feeds into a greater purpose. But it's just areas to be celebrated. Anyway, Lucid's also, for the record, my first big girl job. I have no other experience anywhere else, so I also
I will tell you, as somebody with a lot of corporate experience, or well, professional experience, I am a higher ed girly, not like corporate girly, and they are different. But spend a lot of time talking to a lot of people in a lot of spaces, and you know, one of the things that you will see on any like LinkedIn or feel good girlies Insta is like, you know, people don't leave jobs that make them feel good.
Right.
And like, you got something special here, and I'm so glad you know that, because that's a profound opportunity. And like, I'm obsessed. So wait, hold on. Let's go back to pre-internship. No, we're still on Lucid. Don't worry, I'm not moving on. This is exactly what I wanted to talk about. I just didn't know this is what I wanted to talk about.
Good.
How did you find your internship?
I found my internship through Dave, my guy.
Dave, right back to Dave.
And we're back to Dave. It all begins and ends with Dave. So yeah, I was working for him, and around the same time that he was like, "You're gonna be bored.
No,
you should do information systems." Yes. He said, "You should go work at Lucid. My daughter works there. She can refer you." Okay. And he was like, "I think it'd be a really interesting experience for you. I think you'd really enjoy it." And I said, "Cool, thanks." And then I like didn't open that conversation up for another 5 months. And then I got to a point where I felt that I really needed to get an internship. It's all this stress of like, if I don't, my life is over. Okay, Gracie.
Where's that stress come from? Does that come from academia? Does it come from cult? Like, kind of walk me through the stress of that.
I think culture. I think I had felt from like also my siblings' examples that if I also didn't have an internship like my junior year, then what was I supposed to do my senior year, like the summer before my senior year? So it like all compounds. And I think there was an emphasis on that from the U as well, of like, go out, go explore. So I was stressed. So I came back to Dave and I said, "I found this internship online. I'm going to apply for it. Can your daughter put in a word for me?"
Yep.
And so I did. I applied and interviewed, and then I got to make a presentation about something that I loved or that I was passionate about. So I taught people about the garbage patches in the ocean.
Oh my gosh. Like, that was part of your intern, like that was part of like the Lucid onboarding.
I had a phone screen. I had an interview with who was supposed to be leading the internship, but he was out on paternity leave. So I met with Tyler, the head of my department.
Okay. Yep.
Didn't know he was such a big dog until 20 minutes into a 30-minute interview and said, and then
thanks, Tyler, you're a real one.
I said, oh my gosh. And then I had an interview with 2 other solutions engineers where they told me that the instruction for that interview was that I was to prepare a 10-minute presentation and be prepared to give it. And so I said on something that you're passionate about. And so it's
Yep.
really open-ended. And so I talked about the Great Pacific Garbage Patch.
I think that is so cool. And I'm so annoyed by the fact that I'm trying to like not just fangirl over your company right now, but like what's it like to do everything right? I don't know. That's crazy.
I don't know, man. I don't know. But yeah, it was so fun. It was so fun. Yeah.
Okay, and then you also said now I got to go off on another tangent.
Yeah.
So fun.
So fun.
And like our brain, okay, do you know that the moves and the rhythms of learning are like their pathways, right? They're cognitive pathways. And that like if you're working on something or learning something, like there's an amount of times the path has to be traveled before it is like locked in your brain. Do you know that the number of times that has to happen for it to stick, the percentage plummets if it's done in play?
Really?
Yes. And so like the science of culture of it's just so fun is like this is where like I get on a real hill to die on of like we make things harder than they're supposed to be because we demonize functions of fun or curiosity or humor, when in reality, if we cared about maximizing impact or benefit to our shareholders or culture and society, what we would actually be doing is working on how to implement fun, curiosity, play, humor into the normal realities of our working life because it simply would happen faster. So when you say like, I got to maximize value for my shareholders, then make your job fun.
I mean, every day is an adventure with Lucid, and my day is always different with the different types of like calls I might be joining or the people that I'm speaking to. But I think that part's fun. I think it's so fun to connect with people and get to learn about what they're doing and say, yeah, you know what? That sounds incredibly painful. That sounds awful. Can we make life a little bit easier?
Yeah.
And so I think that part's really fun. But I also think, and we'll totally own that I've won the team jackpot, that the solutions engineering team is special and everyone's sort of goofy. And they're not afraid to be goofy. In fact, that's really encouraged. Like in a lot of my calls, they were like, we hired you to be you. We didn't hire you to be some other version of yourself, some fake corporate Gracie. We've hired you to be you. And we want that to come through in the calls that you lead and the way that you demonstrate the product to people and just the overall like action of it. Because, as fun as it is to sit on an hour call talking about security and how to better security in Lucid, can you imagine how boring that would be if I was monotone? Oh my gosh,
Well, like,
snoozeville.
No,
Snoozeville.
And I think that like, the other part, like not only would it be a lesser reality, right? But like the amount of work you'd need to do to like code switch between like, hey, here's what I'm thinking versus like, so the way that we're going to pursue this option is like one of these I don't have to work on. It's just how I communicate. The other, like, do you want my effort put into how I communicate this or put into doing my job better? Because honestly, one of these is a lot easier than the other.
Like, yeah, you get one.
Yeah.
But I think that's learned too. I think there's also something to say, and I'm very confident in my role now, right? I've been around 2.5 years. In the beginning, I had a super big chip on my shoulder, and I was really nervous about absolutely everything I said because I was like, I just barely got into my major. I'm a girl, and I'm young. Like I just know that I don't know a lot.
What's the opposite of a triple threat? Like a like
everything's bad. I don't know. It's like everything's scary. The world's on fire. I don't know. But I was really nervous. And so I was really focused on what I said and how I presented things. And eventually it took one of my coworkers, as I was like stressed trying to plan for a call that she was gonna shadow, was like, Gracie, you've lost your personality.
Yeah.
Like you've lost this core part of why we hired you or like why you were hired. And so I also owe a lot to that coworker, and she's also one of my really good friends, even outside of work, for just being a trusted voice that could level set life for me.
And like, I think the other thing that's true about play and fun is that they really only work in safe spaces.
Mm-hmm.
I can't play if I'm worried, right?
Yeah.
Like there is a culture of safety that has to supersede and precede a culture of like whatever silly thing, right?
Right. Yeah. So I maybe should get off my soapbox about how Lucid's the best and everyone should
No, that
work
is
there.
actually the
But
entire point and purpose of this conversation. So
yeah.
actually obsessed with that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh man, like that just we just covered we didn't know it, but we covered like literally this like how have you sought mentorship intentionally or organically? Like yeah, like when you're not off track, you're actually perfectly on track.
No, it was just so organic.
Oh my gosh, this is a great one. Okay, so you've
Okay.
always been able to articulate multiple sides of an issue with humor and compassion. Do you see that as something you were taught or something that you just kind of feel like you're good at naturally?
Um, Probably both. I mean, I think basic, but I think I was taught that everyone matters, right? That everyone's
Yep.
important. Um, but then like I've also gone through periods in my life that have not been as like smiley and so fun and so happy,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I had a realization that I could try and be a difference maker, at least in my own circle or those that I influence, to try and make sure that in my own way, that at least people feel seen, you know,
Yep.
and at least that, you know, they can look to me and I'm listening because I've understood what it feels like to be on the other side of it where I haven't felt that that need was met
Yeah.
and it was really hard. And so I feel like I want to make sure that I myself can be an influence for good. And it, you know, honestly, if that influences other people to do the same, then awesome, but that's not my intent.
Right.
You know, like
Yeah.
it comes from me. I remember reading some, I don't know, it was some inspirational post on Instagram or whatever. But I repeat it to myself a lot when I'm frustrated or when I want things to be going differently and maybe I'm directly impacted by other people. And I'll just repeat to myself, you know, like it's everyone else's first time too. Everyone else's first time on earth as well, which you talked about in the
Yeah.
start. But I will say that to myself a lot because I'll say, you know, if I want people to give me space to mess up, then I have to provide that as well.
Yeah.
Because again, everyone's just trying to figure it out. It's everyone
Yeah.
else's first time doing it.
Yep. And like I really enjoy the fact that you were saying all of the things that allow me to say all of my favorite things, and this is probably why like I knew we needed to yap, because I think that is actually honestly how I've always felt in conversations with you. So thank you for that. But one of my favorite things to tell people is like your brain isn't always your friend. Your brain tells you what it is told repeatedly, internal monologue or otherwise, and so you know, the things that we repeat to ourselves are the things that we do believe. And if we don't repeat them, or if we only repeat, I think about our internal thoughts as being some of the most unsafe spaces people occupy. Like some people are mean to themselves. And like I think of every cheesy like, don't talk to my friend like that. Like I wouldn't talk to you like that, so I shouldn't talk to me like that. And like, but how do we keep that refrain front of mind? And like it is where I will give every Insta girly their day because like we see things wherever we are, whether that's LinkedIn or the interwebs, wherever, or Instagram, or like you can curate those spaces to be helpful reminders, right?
Yeah, I think, yeah, just absolutely. And I feel like I know that my internal thoughts are mean so
Yeah,
much that my therapist, love a therapist, was
do.
like, Gracie, the one thing that we need to continually be working on is not being mean to ourselves over
Yup.
things that frankly are out of our control. I've been reading a book recommendation, love it. The Gifts of Imperfection by Brene Brown.
Love.
Life-changing.
Yep.
Fantastic book. Yeah. Big fan. So,
It matters how we talk to our like how we know how we talk to each other matters. We know how
mhm.
we talk to plants matters. And
So
like
true.
and what am I if not a complicated house plant? So
So
yes, okay.
hot
Thank you.
water.
I don't. This is me pretending to drink this water. I didn't take one sip
Yeah.
the entire time, so that's fine.
Incredible.
So we are very close to our time, and I want to do. I'm going to read like the first half of a sentence, and then you have to finish it. Okay.
Okay. Great.
A great mentor knows when to.
Listen instead of talk.
Yes.
I was gonna quote from Princess Diaries, Lily's thing of shut up and listen, but maybe I should have done that initially, but I got nervous.
Please don't crush my soy nuts. Yes. Love,
Yeah.
love, love. Okay, next one.
Mhm.
Growth without accountability is.
Non-existent.
I love those tight with that one word answer. Okay, I see you. Gracie's like, this is amateur stuff. I'm good to go. The conversation that changed me most was about.
Imposter syndrome. I was talking to my manager as an intern, and I was telling him that I felt really unworthy to be in my position and that I had been a bad hire.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I gotta tell you, an imposter wouldn't be feeling that way. They wouldn't be worried about it because they know they're lying.
Yeah.
It's like you're exactly where you belong, and you gotta give yourself some credit to be here and know that the entire team believes that you can do it. The entire team you're supporting believes that you can do it. The missing factor here is whether or not you believe that you can do it.
Which is such a profound way to flip my internal monologue on its head, right? Like if I had faked my way through this, I would be spending no time thinking about this.
I'd be not worried about it at all.
I'm super annoyed that that's the first time I've heard that. Super annoyed.
Dave Bennett, Lucid Software.
Amazing. Last one.
Sure.
Community is built when mentors.
I think community is built when mentors understand there's still more to learn.
Yeah.
I think the minute you do the disservice to yourself to believe that you're done learning is when you become an island. And I guess that steps outside of mentors or specific hats, right? But at any point in life, everyone's a mentor and everyone's a mentee. Everyone's teaching or everyone's learning.
Unless you're not, and then you're not.
Then you're an island, and then no one wants to listen while you're talking. But I think too, humans, we as people are really social. We try and build up communities wherever we can. And it's clear because there's some instinct in us that knows that we're stronger together. And so I think any person that believes that they're done learning in general or in their position at work or with their friends is doing no greater disservice than to themselves. Everyone else can figure their lives out, but that person's stuck.
Gracie's book comes out. Yes. And every single thing you said was insightful and profound, and I knew it would be. Because every conversation I have with you is just A1, actually, has always been true. I was trying to remember whatever story you and Brandy and I were howling about at her house in the spring, and I have no recollection of what the story was actually about. But I remember laughing so hard my stomach hurt. And I just think one of my favorite things about you is the ability to talk about the most important corporate academic life things, and also to be able to just laugh really, really hard. And that is a wonderful, wonderful thing that you bring to every table you sit at. So Lucid got a winner, and he is right. But also Lucid is a winner, and I love that you are there. So I really, really thank you for taking the time. And this is also obviously going to be just part one of many of Gracie and Bethany talking about all the things. But thank you so much for taking the time.
Oh, always a pleasure. Probably the best part of my day. So
I mean, the whole week really revolved around this moment for me.
This is such a good start to my year. 2026 is really just this is it.
Coming in us. And also, I 100% meant what I said about spending a week shadowing everything that happens at Lucid. So here's me like manifesting that in the universe. And I will be pestering Tyler about that. Okay,
Yeah,
great.
No, I'll start talking to people about that. No worries.
Thanks. I appreciate that. I hope you have a wonderful night. It was great to see you.
You as well. It's so good to see you. You look so good.
Thanks, friend. Likewise. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.